How's everybody doing? This is Adam's Theory, alright? I'm your host, Adam, also known as The Hater 2814. How you doing? Today's topic is about African Americans and their culture. I was talking with a friend of mine maybe a week ago, and she made a comment that African Americans don't have a culture. And it was funny because I spoke to another person about this, and they said, wow, you know, I had somebody say the same thing to me, that, you know, African Americans don't have a culture. So it made me think, well, of course I got defensive, you know, at being an African American. I was like, yes we do. But later on, I wanted to go and do my research. You know, I wanted to find out, like, you know, why, I mean, do we? I mean, I know that I said we do out of, you know, being defensive. But do we actually have a culture? So I went online, looked at our history, and I was just blown away with all the things that us as African Americans have done for the American society. I mean, we could go back to the 1920s and 30s to the Harlem Renaissance. All right, with all the contributions that we made to poetry, with Langston Hughes and Countee Cullen. We had great contributions in jazz music, swing and blues. All right. Later on, civil rights movement in the 1940s and 50s, followed by the Black Power movement in the 1960s. It's as a culture, which is, and I will go and say the African American culture is very young. It started, you know, it's over a little bit, I would say 250 to 300 years. As a people, we have touched every aspect of the American society. We have contributed in a great way in science, music, fashion, literature, art, food. Everything that we have seemed to have touched, we have contributed in such a great way. But yet, I feel that and even I will have to go even to myself, we're not aware of that. A lot of us can't even name 5 black inventors. We can't name five black poets. I think there's some of us that we don't even know who's the first black president is. And in case you don't know, it's Barack Obama. We're just not aware of it. Now why? You know, what happened? And I think it's the struggle. I think back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, we had a struggle. You know, racism was in our face. There's nothing we could do. It was just there. All right, they weren't trying to hide it. It was just there in our face. So we had to go and fight to be anything. We had to fight to be a doctor, fight to be a lawyer. We had to fight to be more than what they wanted us to be. Now, racism is still alive, and that's apparent in the news. Obviously, there was a recent news article that said that why black women are less attractive to any other race. That they actually did a study on that. You know, so racism is still here, but it's not as in your face as it used to be. And it seems that we feel that we don't have a struggle. We're comfortable and satisfied with the little bit that we have. It seems that we get ourselves a car, a nice little chain, and we feel like we're made. It seems that we don't want to be more than anything. We don't want to be anything more than on the block. So those of us that do have dreams, some of us, we want to be rappers, want to be singers, want to be a basketball player, we want to be an athlete. And I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if you have the talent, go for it. But not all of us could be that. We need doctors too. We need lawyers. We need politicians. We need scientists. We need engineers. We need those things as well. During the break, I was actually thinking about what I said about African Americans not having a struggle. And I'm going to have to take that comment back. because I was half right and half wrong. We do have a struggle. It's just, it's in a different way. It's not as in your face as it used to be in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. We do have a struggle. But the struggle is, I think, among ourselves. It's about us wanting to be more. You know, for whatever reason, we felt we're comfortable with just being on the corner. We're comfortable with the little 10 to 11, the minimum wage job. And as soon as we get a job that, you know, is paying $12 or $13 an hour, we feel like we made it. We're getting paid now. I mean, we're happy with getting the little, you know, getting ourselves a, you know, the little car, but yet still living at home with our mother. You know, we're happy with that. We're not trying to be more. And the few that are, the few of us that are, that's trying to go and, you know, break the chains, as I want to call them, even though that sounds kind of corny, but yes, the chains, and be more, and, you know, do become successful, do become the doctors, the lawyers, the managers. For whatever reason, some of them have some type of resentment. You know, they feel like they're better than everybody. You know, they feel like, you know, I made it now. I'm so much better than, you know, Johnny from, you know, Johnny on 135th Street. I'm so much better than Tiffany from that works at T-Mobile. Instead of trying to help each other. You know? Man, I mean, I guess, and that's another issue by itself that I could just do a video on, and the fact that, you know, the few of us that do make it, we don't want to help each other. Not at all. But I want to get back to the struggle. Now, I'm not going to go and say that, you know, racism doesn't play a part. I'm not going to go and say that, you know, the education system doesn't play a part, because the education in public schools is horrible. That by the time, you know, a child reaches the 7th grade, he'll be lucky to know how to add or be on a 5th or 6th grade level. It does play a part. But you gotta want more. Whatever happened to the mothers and fathers that wanted their child to be more? They wanted their child to get out the ghetto. So they made sure they got home and made sure they did their homework, made sure they did their studies. I mean, it seems that so many of us are having children at such a young age that it's literally children raising children. Now, I'm not here, I didn't do this episode to preach. I didn't do this episode to go and, you know, say, oh, black people, you're so messed up, black people this and black people that. No. I'm doing this video to go and say that, you know, we have a rich history. We have a rich culture. And we should be proud to be an African American. However, we gotta go and do more. You know, we gotta be more. We gotta go and want to be more and do more for ourselves. And then when we do make it, we can't turn our back on our brothers and sisters back there. You know, we gotta go and try to help out. So to all the people out there that, you know, that did make it, please, you know, go back to your hood. Go back to your neighborhood. Go back to your projects. Give back. And I'm not just talking about money, because, you know, we got a little bit of that. Tell people how you made it. Help them out. Teach them how to do their resume. I'm not gonna lie. Some people are not gonna listen. Some people are gonna turn a deaf ear. But out of 10 people, if you could get one of them to listen, you change the world. Sounds corny, but it's true. There's Adam's theory.